Good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. So this is Friday the 19th, Derek Newson's favourite number, 19. So this is Friday the 19th at Bolingey. So I've drawn peg 16, which is an absolute screamer. So screamer means flyer, flyer means good peg. I actually drew this yesterday in our private festival and actually won the match with £187. So happy day. So I was like pretty keen. I was confident. I'm not saying I was gonna like win to beat the locals because there's a couple of very good anglers here today. Not saying that there's not good anglers in our festival, but local knowledge and people that fish it, a lot, obviously hard to beat. So confident I'll do well. Made some mistakes yesterday, so even though I did do all right, obviously to win the match with our lads is pretty good, to say the least. But like a lot of things, you can still improve. So caught a few fish long on pace, caught nothing short, had a few crassios and a couple of small carp, but didn't really feel I was doing great. Now yesterday, I only caught two crassios on the method, pinged some pellets as well, and that seemed to make it worse for whatever reason. So definitely wasn't going to ping. So therefore, it's going to be a little bit more patient and just fish a method feeder. Now, I didn't want to chuck it too tight because I did lose a couple of method feeders yesterday. Lucky enough, I didn't lose any length of line, so it just like basically just I think I just got caught in the roots, if I'm honest, or something. The thing is, it's been so windy. It was really windy Monday, so if any debris have fell off the island, like branches or trees or anything, then obviously that potentially might have caused a problem. I don't know. Um, So fishery micros around obviously the method feeder. So just fishing £6 maxi through to an 0.22 hook length. So no point messing around. Um, Obviously maybe it'd be more ideal to fish a little bit lighter, probably catch more crassios and stuff, be a bit more easier for them to suck it in, but you've got to pull quite hard, otherwise they're just going to do you, as in break you. So with your fishery micros, you need to be a little bit careful how you soak them. Now, for the method, they're going to need a little bit more TLC. To be honest with you, feeding down the edge, you can give them a bit of water. I tend to sooner do it gradual rather than just flooding them. So they're Coppins pellets, so not Scretins. Scretins, I feel, need less TLC and a lot more easier to prepare, in my opinion. However, Coppins pellets, in my opinion, are definitely and undoubtedly better for the edge, especially when it's deep water. So you can over soak them, and they're definitely more heavier rather than a Scretin pellet. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with that. You know what I mean? So therefore, making pellets for your method is definitely going to be different to pellets for down your edge. For those who don't know, obviously a lot of anglers will know that. So even though that looks reasonably tight, it is a little bit off. If you go too tight, you just get snagged. And it's a bit of an awkward one to cast to because if you're not careful, you will end up the tree. So the lad on 14's catching well short and down his edge. So I wouldn't say it's forced my hand, but it's made me go down maybe a bit earlier than I liked. And it's just been a bit of a nightmare. So I've just lost one then. I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone's guilty of losing fish, don't matter how good you are, and then book another one, and that's unbelievably come off, which is a little bit frustrating to say the least. And then just start a new line. Now it's weird, like if you start a new line, you seem to get like an instant response, but obviously you can have like loads and loads of lines down the edge. I mean, maybe I should have gone further down my edge, like 13, 10 meters or something like that in reflection, maybe. But then would that ruin it that they're not going to come shorter for me later stages of the matches? So I honestly can't answer that. Pace down the edge yesterday was good. I caught some real big uns on it, and then fish maggots to the right, which didn't really make sense to be fair because to the right's deeper. So I thought maybe I should fish pace to the right and maggots to the left. So that's what I've done today. And I didn't really catch very well on pace. So I actually changed the pace line to maggots and caught over it better. So basically, sort of big pot into every fish. So not saying fill up the big pot. I'm not saying that for 1 second. Like probably big pot, probably maybe quarter of a pot of maggots. So I'd say 75% maggots, 25% um, micro pellets. And again, I'm not sure if that was right. Um, Monday, Tuesday, trying to think which day it was. One of the days I caught well on peg 28, and all I'd done was just fished and fed maggots down the edge, didn't even feed any micros. And that was pretty clean, to be fair. But the edges on that peg were only, what, 18 inch, like 11 meters down the side. And you could see them come in. And I was quite surprised how well they fed, to be honest. Whereas here, like to the right, you've literally got 4 foot. And to the left, you've got 3 foot two. So pretty deep edges, to be honest. So again, no messing around with lines, just fishing 022 straight through. I don't see the point of fishing anything lighter, to be honest. I don't think it really makes a difference when these fish come in to feed. Um, Maybe fishing 018, maybe a bit better. But some of these fish are really big, and I just worry they're just going to end up breaking you. So even here, I'm playing it a little bit gingerly, on the expression ginger. Been ginger myself. But you can see that's my edge rig, look, so you can see how deep it is. So a lot of my focus obviously was going to be down the edge. Open it was going to come good. I just didn't feel I tried to catch short, just didn't get a bite. And maybe I should have changed that to like literally a maggot line in the deep water. I know some anglers do that on other venues. Um, Not sure how that would have gone. Worry you're going to end up foul looking and stuff, or the maggots are just going to spread. But I don't know, flat calm like today, maybe that would have been better. You're always worried, like, because obviously you got a 4 pint limit of maggots or casters, so you obviously got to be a little bit careful where you feed them because I feel like when the fish are on, that maggot might only last, for one line. It might only last like the last sort of hour and a half. So, you feed it too many lines or feed it too early, then you're just gonna run out of bait. You can see I've had two carp pretty quick. It wasn't speeded up. The trouble is, this is where the elite anglers are so good. They would move, and they move a lot quicker than what I would, and figure things out. So like showing the video, like now I've looked to big and down to my right, and you think, oh, happy days. And I do catch a couple of fish quick, but then I've got long periods where I don't catch. And the trouble is, it's real fine margins. Like Mikey Williams, Mark, no, Sam Williams. Sorry, Sam. Sam Williams. He won it today next to my mate Derek. He's had 202 pound, so he's done really well. But then the weights after that, there's a 145, a 143, and then there's a 137, and I've had 135. So I've been lucky. I've won my section by default. But looking at this from the video, it definitely should have come second. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the other anglers have lost fish. One of the lads did actually go over in his net by a little bit. I think he went over in his net by £7. So that's cost him second that. So obviously there's an error. You know what I mean? So that's not a dig. We were all guilty of it. I've unfortunately gone over my nets, even though the rules got changed. I wasn't aware. That's another story. Not at this venue, because the rules are consistent. So that was a dig. So yeah. So enjoyed it, but come away a little bit frustrated.
Great bigger.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. It's free. Don't ask for anything. There's today's weight slut. So you've got the board, something worth pausing. So as you can see, very, very tight for second and third place.